All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm at the point where I'm getting ready to install my wet sump oil pump back onto the motor. This is different than what most LS motors have out there. And there's really not too many, well, there's no video on how to properly install a wet sump oil pump. And there's really nothing too informative on any forum or online anywhere. So I'm going to try to put together the best, most informative video out there. And there's a number of ways. Well, there's a couple of ways you could install this. If you look down in here, you have like two gears. And see this slot here? That's an oil passage, and you see back there, you could see them. So what some people do is, well, most people write on the forums, it doesn't matter, you could stagger them or you could line them up like this. I am going to stagger them. The reason why is because when I took the pump out of the motor originally, this is how it came out, just like this. So I'm putting mine back like this. Okay, so let me go to the motor for a second. Okay. So obviously the pump is going to go over this gear right here. The key to this is that the bottom of the pump has to line up with the bottom of the block, almost perfectly flush, and then it'll meet up properly with these oil passages. So let me show you what I found through a lot of research, and I got this off of Mitchell. What was that? eautorepair.net. You have to sign up. So this is what they have. So this is just to unbolt it, I believe. Yeah. So now, if we turn the page, it starts the installation process. So basically, it's just saying to line up the sprockets, put them over the shaft. And you want the oil pump to meet the block surface. So there's the directions there. You guys could pause your screen if you want, if you need time to read it. But that's what they tell you to do. So on the next page, now here, align the oil pump surfaces with the engine block surfaces. The oil pump must align flush or no greater than 0.1 millimeters or 0.04, which is basically like the thickness of a sheet of paper, which is pretty flush. So if you look at this illustration here, the motor's turned upside down. There's the bottom of the engine block. There's the bottom of the oil pump. Basically, they want you to line that up perfectly. See that? So this surface will have to line up perfectly with the bottom of the engine block. Now, they do sell, of course, GM has a tool that they use. And actually, to do all this, you need two specialty tools. Now, most people don't do that. That's fine. They can do it their way. So here's that tool. Basically, it's a flat piece of metal. It's aluminum. It bolts to the bottom of the block. And as you can see in this illustration, you line up then what it basically does is it gives you a perfectly level, true surface to the bottom of the block. So that tool that's the number for that tool, J41480. It's called a front and rear cover alignment tool. It's also basically used to align your front cover, because the front cover also has to be flush with the block over there. So with that tool bolted to the engine block, then the front cover sits and rests on that tool, and it will be perfectly flush with the bottom of the engine block. However, you're going to be lined up this way perfectly with the crank, but you're not going to be lined up sideways. For that, they have another tool, which is this EN48853, which basically it's kind of got like a cylinder that goes over here, and then it's got like two brackets that attach to the side, and then that'll align the front cover this way, sideways on the motor. So I was going to do like most guys and just wing in and try to do it by eye the best I can. I was going to use the oil pan as my true surface, and I was literally just about ready to do that. And I had been looking for these tools, and this tool, the cheapest I could find, it was $450. This tool, the front cover alignment tool, that was $600 or $650 was the cheapest. And nobody had them online used or anything equivalent for this, for the front cover alignment tool, which is also used to, you know, level the oil pump. So just the other day, voila, I found one on eBay used, 150 bucks. So I forked up the cash and I bought it. I made the guy an offer and he literally came down like $2 and change, literally. I didn't even bother. That was an insult. I just paid the full price. So I'm going to bolt this to the bottom of my block, but it's not that easy because I got the oil pan in the way. So now I'm going to try to disconnect the oil pan. We'll just lower it about, you know, about an inch I'm going to need to get it in there and bolt it up. So I'm going to have to undo these two bolts on the bottom of the bell housing, and then undo all of these smaller bolts. And there's a bracket. I'm going to try to leave this oil cooler lines attached. There's a bracket. Oh, let me get a light. See, those are the oil cooler lines. There's a bracket back there. You can see the bracket bolts to the block. Probably just have to undo that because the lines are disconnected up at the front. So that's what I'm going to be working on now, lowering the oil pan. I did get a new oil pan gasket, but just as extra insurance, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get it in there. I don't know if there's going to be enough room. I'll have to see. If there is, I'll try to swap it out, but I'm not even sure if this oil pan gasket is riveted. Some of them are. And again, this is my first time working on a wet sump oiling system, so it's a different oil pan too. So we'll see. All right, so let's just go back to those notes. So this is the tool. Those are the instructions. Let me just take a quick shot for everybody. All right, so that's to remove it. You can pause your screen if you need time. That's to install it. Basically, you got to align the two splines with the sprocket there and make sure the pump is sitting flush against the block over here. Don't tighten the bolts at this time because they want you to align the pump with the block, and of course you're going to need that J41480. You're going to need that tool. Oh wait, I didn't show you the other thing. So they want you to, I don't understand this part. I don't know why they're telling you to install the front cover alignment tool on here first. I mean, onto the block. It doesn't make sense. Install the EN48853 front cover alignment tool and bolts to the block. I don't know if that's a typo. Tighten the EN48853 front cover alignment tool bolts to 18 foot-pounds. We're not even dealing with it yet, so I don't get that. we're working on the pump. So I'm going to disregard number 5 for now. Firmly push the oil pump until the oil pump surfaces contact the J41480 front and rear cover alignment. Now you see, they didn't even mention this, installing this yet, up here. So how could they tell you to put the pump on to make sure that it contacts here when you didn't even tell us to install it? Again, this is what I found from eauto.net, eautorepair.net, which is that Mitchell. So, firmly push the oil pump until the pump surfaces contact the J41480 front and rear cover alignment. Continue to retain the pump to the J41480. I guess they're meaning to keep pressure, holding it down. Continue to retain the pump to J41480 front and rear cover alignment. Tighten the oil pump bolts to 18 foot-pounds. I am going to put a little bit of blue Loctite on the bottom of these bolts. I cleaned them up. Just going to put a little bit down here, because 18 foot-pounds is really not that much. So the blue Loctite's like a little bit of added insurance. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let me just show you. So this tool I couldn't find used, and brand new it's way too much, $600, $650. So how am I going to align this onto the crank so that it's got the proper side-to-side alignment? Voila! CBM 10451. $50. I like that. $50. So you will basically put that there, center it up, boom, right onto the crank. No problems. $50. And the company is CBM. Here's their card. Very nice. Got it to me right away. No problem. CBMmotorsports.com. Nice guys. $50. Remember that. It's worth it for peace of mind. Now, what a lot of people do, which is what I was going to do, they put this on over the crank with the seal. They put the bolts in just hand tight, and then they press on the harmonic balancer, which will, in essence, kind of center it for the most part. But you have to remember, this is very flexible, and this will move. So, and this might not be perfectly round. As you can see where my thumb is, it's kind of flat right there. So the chances of this getting it perfectly aligned, not so good. But it'll probably work. That's what most people do. But I didn't want to do this on this car because I didn't want to have to deal with that goddamn power steering rack ever again in my life, because it was so difficult on this car. So for $200, I think it should be done right. So let me get started. Let me try to lower that oil pump, that oil pan. If I run into any tricks or problems, I'll let you guys know. So I gave you guys the instructions. I told you how I'm going to align the splines, because this is exactly how they came out of my motor originally. And these are the tools you need to complete this. So let me get the oil pan off and I'll be back. Okay, so let me just show you what I did. I took the alignment tool and I wound up sandwiching it in between the oil pan and the block. I used the oil pan bolts right there and there. Got them through, got that lined up, sitting flush. This tool is really intended to be used with the oil pan off in the motor, more importantly with the motor out of the vehicle, and with the oil pan baffles out, that tray back there. But I was able to use it like this. I got it to work. It's lined up very well. So now I will be able to put the front cover on before taking this tool off, and I could use this to align the front cover to the block. So let me just show you what else I did. I took out all the bolts to the oil pan, or I just loosened them. I didn't pull them all out. And then I just put one on each side back in just to hold the oil pan level. So the oil pan's dropped about 1/4 of an inch at this point all around the motor. So I was able to slide this alignment tool in and sandwich it, and that's how I did it, ladies and gentlemen. So good luck with your projects, but this is how I did mine. All right, I'll be back. Let me get the alignment, the front cover on, and I'll try to get some video of that. I'll be back. All right, guys, I just want to show you I got the front timing chain cover on, and I got my CBM front cover alignment tool in place, and you can see it spins nice and freely. The cover's aligned on the corners. So I'm going to be putting some silicone. I'm going to take the cover back off. I just have it sitting here in place to show you guys. I'm going to put some silicone underneath the cover where it meets the gasket and where it meets the oil pan. And then I should be pretty much done with this. So that's how it goes. Alright guys, I'll be back. Alright guys, I'm back. I've got everything installed. I got the oil pump lined up. I got the front timing cover lined up. Okay, I got the oil pan bolted up. I torqued these bolts down to 18 foot-pounds, and I started in like the middle and then worked my way outwards. Some of them you can't get a torque wrench on because they're so far in there. You have to use a extension, little swivel. Now these two back bolts get torqued to 106 inch-pounds. They're very thin and long and skinny. So these two in the back of the oil pan get torqued to 106 inch-pounds. Those bigger ones get torqued to 18 foot-pounds. And these, the two back bottom bell housing bolts, I torqued them down to 37 foot-pounds. And the reason why I wasn't able to get any video as I was going along is because I had cleaned up and placed fresh sealant. I didn't use the black RTV. My friend who works at the Chevrolet dealer gave me the same exact one that GM uses when they assemble the engine. So I had to do it, move quickly before all the sealant dried up. And I may have put a little bit too much, but that's okay over here in this corner. But that's all right. So I've got everything back together. Next I'll show you how to press on the front seal. I did previously install one, but I took it off because I wanted to use that alignment tool, and I just bought another one. It's only $10 or $15. So I'll show you how to put that on with that tool from CBM. Alright guys, I'll be back. Alright guys, I'm getting ready to install the front seal on the front cover. And here it is right here. This is the back side of the seal. This is the front side. So you want this side to obviously go in like that, facing outwards. And then basically what you're going to do is, well, what I'm going to do is, since I have this tool from CBM, just slide it over. It's hard to do with one hand. Hold on. Get this in there snug. Then you take this, slide it over, and you could just hit this with a rubber mallet or just hit it with your hand. I'm going to hit it with my hand a couple times. And then it should be flush. Alright, unfortunately, since I'm the only one here, I can't do this with one hand, so I'll be back. Okay, so the front seal is in. Very easy to use. Very easy to do with that tool. This seal is meant to go on dry. It has a special coating on it. I believe it's some type of Teflon coating. So put it on dry if you're going to do this. And now I'm going to try to press on the harmonic balancer. I'll be back.